Sometime in the 17th century, a new military tradition was born that involved sounding bugles and trumpets to mark the end of a day of combat. Today in 21st century, the tradition is still observed by many countries across the world, with some changes to suit the contemporary times. Namaste and welcome to New India Junction. I'm Nivedita Tiwari. Let us today talk about beating the retreat ceremony. Beating the retreat or the beating retreat ceremony is organized by the Ministry of Defence on the 29th January, 2 days after the Republic Day parade in New Delhi. Held with much pomp and fervour, the ceremony is nothing short of a glorious reminder of the past as well as a mesmerizing display of the discipline and synchronization of India's armed forces. The tradition, which signals the retreat of the forces after end of festivities, was born on the field of combat to formally mark the end of a day of combat. All flags were lowered as the soldiers of both sides retreated into their respective camps. Over the years, the ceremony in India has taken on the form of the official culmination of the 4-day-long Republic Day festivities. Many records suggest that in 1950, Major Roberts of the India Army developed this ceremony by marshalling performances of the various military bands that had assembled. In its present form, towards the end of the ceremony, colors of the participating forces are raised by their bands, standards are cased and flags lowered. Interestingly, even when the ceremony was started to display the bravado of the Indian Armed Forces for visiting dignitaries and heads of states on the Republic Day, the beating retreat is actually a military protocol. Therefore, the chief guest for the event is the Supreme Commander of the Indian Armed Forces, the President of India. After the arrival of the President, escorted by the President's bodyguards, amongst rousing fanfare of bugles and trumpets, he receives a national salute followed by the national anthem and the unfurling of the national flag. Until a few years ago, the beating retreat ceremony saw participation from 3 armed forces, namely the Army, the Navy and the Air Force. Since 2016, marching bands from other police forces like the CAPF, Delhi Police, CIPF, etc. have also been invited to perform at the ceremony as a recognition of their role being as vital as that of the armed forces. These bands, in clockwork-like synchronization, perform various melodies and tunes while marching in unbelievable patterns. All of this while never missing even a single beat. As the sun begins to set, the performances culminate with a final tune, usually one of immense import like Vande Mataram, as the national flag is lowered. Following the bugle call announcing the sunset and the lowering of the flags, the bandmaster requests the President's, his commander's, permission to lead the bands away and informs him of the ceremony's conclusion. Upon receiving the assent, the bands march away, usually to the beat of tunes like Sare Jahan Se Acha. After the national anthem, the PBG gives the President the final salute of the day, and then he is ceremoniously escorted back to the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Beating the retreat is one of the many wonderful traditions and celebrations of our nation's armed forces. However, the ceremony will be somewhat smaller owing to the protocols adopted in the light of the pandemic. The iconic Republic Day parade, too, was significantly shorter, swifter, and without a foreign head of state as a chief guest. Despite these restrictions, there were several things to celebrate. Take, for example, Flight Lieutenant Bhavna Kant, who became the first female fighter pilot to take part in the parade, as well as the newly inducted Rafale jet that flew past, culminating the air display. This year, the beating retreat ceremony will also commemorate 50 years of India's victory in the 1971 war against Pakistan with a special new composition along the Swarnim Vijay theme. Why don't you let us know your favorite moments from the festivities? Remember to follow all safety guidelines and stay healthy. Dhanyavad. Jai Hind.